how you been? You've been busy the last while from what I've seen. Like,
Up the fucking walls, brother. Up the walls. Been busy since I saw you. Yeah, I came back to New York. Um, I've got this one man play that I've been doing, The Smuggler.
hmm
Fingers crossed, nothing set in stone yet, but we're working on trying to get it to Ireland in the
nice.
summertime. So if that does happen, I'll let you know. I also worked on a James Joyce play all through the
Yeah.
holidays, through Christmas, The Dead. That was great crack.
Mm.
Um, did New York Comic Con, which was a lot of fun to see
So
all
you
the
saw you
gang.
met Jacksepticeye or maybe a few
I
others as well.
I did. I did.
You're-
He was like. I mean, I don't have a clue half the fucking time, but
mm.
it was Roger says, "Oh, that's your man. That's that Irish guy, Jacksepticeye." I'm like, "Oh, how's it going, Jack? Do you mind if I get a picture?" And he's like, "Oh, you're fucking Sean from Red Dead."
Red Dead, yeah.
And I'm like, "Ooh, this is cool. You know who Sean is." And of course, and Roger had a really great kind of conversation with him, and I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of what Mr. Septic Eye kind of really
I
does. It's
I
extremely,
don't know either. I remember I used to watch him a little bit when I was a kid, so
yeah,
be kind of funny gaming videos and stuff like that.
yeah. Fair play to him. It's great. Like, listen, anytime I hear any young people doing this sort of stuff, it's brilliant. But when you see Irish people doing it, I'm like, fuck it, fair play, good for you.
You know, you're a lot less ugly from that other angle, Arthur. Come on. Do I get a hug, Arthur? A warm embrace for a lost brother now found.
And get a bit of. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's a
yeah,
little bit better. You're all lit up now.
sexy. Yeah. Fucking hell, I look like a pug.
Well, this is going to be the first episode of the Wilkie's Wonders podcast.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of rebranding the YouTube channel and stuff like that. I want to try different content, so I'm really glad that you've come forward and been like, "Hey, be my first guest."
I'll be your guest every week, man. No problem. Perfect. Just put it every Friday, 10 o'clock. Cup of coffee. I'll come into my little storage unit here.
Lovely. So
Actually, it probably helps with this. How does it sound? How did it sound when you listen back?
I think it sounds okay. Like
All right.
it sounds pretty decent.
I listen to your man, Blind Boy, all the time.
Oh, your man with the plastic bag over
Yeah, and
his
I
head.
love
Yeah,
him, and he's worked so hard to get that perfect right little sound. Has the fidelity of the sound going on, man. He's great. He's cool.
the old
But I
Cork
know, like
sound.
he works really hard to make sure he has the right microphone and it sounds just right. And he has
Mm,
this little theme tune playing in the background that kind of helps, kind of like you get lost in his style of storytelling with a little bit of music in the background. It's very creative.
yeah, there's playing around with sound and audio is such a killer, isn't it? Like even I find it can be so annoying with all the different sound effects and dialogue I have to throw in for all the different videos and stuff I do.
See, that's what I do. That's why I work mostly in theater. I don't have to think about it. Just fucking be loud, shout, be loud.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
wonderful director here in New York. Her name's Charlotte Moore. She's absolutely brilliant. She's a legend. She runs the Irish Repertory Theatre here in Manhattan,
hmm
and that's always her one note. I want to hear you speak.
And so I wanted to like ask you a little bit because obviously we met briefly in Deadwood,
Yeah,
and like everyone obviously knows you as Sean MacGuire, but I mean you've been doing a rake of yokes. Like you've done two fundraisers, you've done the US Play Rugby and the American Irish Historical Society, and I think Rob was there for, or not Rob, Roger was there for that one.
he was there for the
Which
one last year. That was a fundraiser for Origin Theatre Company.
right.
That's the company that I run. It's a non-profit off-Broadway theatre company here in New York City.
hmm
We do the annual First Irish Theatre Festival. The company has been in existence since 2002. We produced the work of people like Marco Rowe, Endo Walsh, these kind of people, like when they were first coming up here in New York,
hmm
household names in Ireland and theatre circles. We've just been kind of providing a space for the next generation of Irish and Irish inspired playwrights for over 20 years now. And we have a festival that takes place every April called First Irish.
hmm
Last year, I think we had over 20 events. We had a number of performers come from Ireland. We had the likes of Pat Kinavan come over here from Cork, and he works with Fishamble, Dublin-based theatre company. A wonderful company from Northern Ireland called Big Telly that we've collaborated on a couple of times with. They're coming back this year. And this year we have a great play called Tom Moran is a Filthy, Disgusting Liar.
I love the name.
Yeah, I saw a little piece of it last year at a presentation here in the city, and I was right up to him. I was like, dude, this is great. Basically, it's his own personal story. He's already he toured it to he had it on at the Peacock there in Dublin. He's toured it to Australia. Now he's coming to New York, and he's starting a US tour with us here at the festival at the start of April. But yeah, it's a wonderful story. It basically started when from what I recall of him telling me, he got the idea as a kid when he feigned illness because he wasn't ready for an exam or something, or he didn't have his homework done in school. So he feigned illness, and he ended up in the hospital getting his fucking tonsils taken out, even though didn't need for it to happen.
Oh, Jesus.
He kind of kept that story going for years and years, and then he wrote this play about the little secrets we keep to kind of protect ourselves. And his parents learned all about it on opening night when he performed his play. So the minute I met him and I heard that story, he's like, "Okay, I'll get you over here."
Lovely.
But yeah, it's been busy. Like, I did the marathon recently as well for Play Rugby, great charity here in New York that provides education assistance through rugby for kids in disadvantaged areas of the city. Wonderful organization, and yeah, man, just been busy since Deadwood. I miss it.
Deadwood was fun. I got to meet a lot of great people in Deadwood. Yeah. Like, even going there, like, I went with absolutely no one. I immediately met like Erica on the flight going over. She gave me a lift down and then got to introduce me to like Jenna Havale or Havala. I butcher her name the whole time. Shanique. And yeah, just getting to meet some of the other people attending there was just such a good vibe.
Well, I remember meeting you, and when I heard the accent, I was like, fuck, Jesus, where's from Kilkenny? What are you doing in the middle of South Dakota, man?
I have the picture you signed up there, and on the top right, you've wrote "Up the Cats" when you were signing it. I know, and you were like, I don't have
no interest in hurling. I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we we grasp onto anything that we can that kind of holds us together as a community. You know what I mean? So that's my little thing. There's It was a great event, and the thing for me with those kind of events, like the Comic-Cons and everything, is just getting to meet people who really appreciate the game. I mean, it's a massive gift for me personally, and it's a privilege to actually meet so many people. Like, to have yourself there, like you mentioned, Shaniqua and Jenna coming from the UK. There was a chap from Hong Kong. He was here last year, the year before in Tombstone. He came back to Deadwood. There was another young girl, Sarah. I think she took 4 or 5 flights from like Western Australia.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you have to understand from my perspective, like, I have a hard time getting people to cross the fucking street to come see me in a play. So when I do get to do the Sean MacGuire stuff and the Red Dead stuff and meet all my buddies and pals again, it's nice. It's a good feeling. It's a nice feeling. Makes the head go a little, makes the head swell a bit. The ego gets a massage. But like, just seeing the dedication that all these people have, like, who come out and support the game, it's just such a brilliant community, and I'm always thrilled to be a part of it. And I love all the fans very much. I do these cameo videos, and it's been a joy just being able to just reach people like through that, you know. And yeah, I love it.
So, how did you actually? I remember you telling me in Deadwood, like, kind of you're starting with acting when you were like in school, and some of the plays and stuff you did. And then did you move on to like Dublin and then other places? But then eventually, did you feel like maybe Ireland might have held you back with acting, and you kind of wanted to progress and maybe move to the States then?
Honestly, it wasn't as thought out as that. If it was as thought out as that, then I might be a hell of a lot more successful, like, you know. No, man. I mean, I started acting as a kid. I firmly believe we're all actors. Like, we all play parts depending on our situation, who we're dealing with. Obviously, you're going to be very different with, you know, people in your life at home, family members, than you are at work. You know, so I believe we're all kind of actors. But I was really young, and I was in this particular school, and I just wasn't doing well at all. Funny story, actually, I was made to put on the correct pair of grey trousers because the grey trousers I wore were the wrong shade. But the pair that they gave me to put on made me walk like RoboCop. That was the big movie at the time. So I walked all the way home in these trousers that were ill-fitting from school, with all the local kids yelling, "Hey, RoboCop! How's it going, RoboCop? No, RoboCop Mellamphy." They're all slagging me, you know, their big thick Cork accents. And I got home, and my mum was like, "You're not going back to that school." And she brought me down to this other school, absolutely beautiful place called Scullbarra in Ballincollig in Cork. And the minute I walked into the hall, to the auditorium, the main hall, they had a stage set up. And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And they go, "Oh, that's our stage. We put plays on." And of course, my only experience of ever going to a play at that age was going to the local, to the the pantomime in Cork City. My grandmother Mellamphy, God rest her soul, she'd bring me to the panto every year, and she'd be like, "You could be up there someday." And of course, as a kid, you're looking at the size and scope of this, and you're like, "How the hell do you ever get up there?" So I walk into this school hall in Ballincollig in Cork, and they've got a stage set up, and it's like, "Oh, like you do a panto here?" I'm like, "Well, no, we put on different kinds of plays." I think I was 8 or 9 years of age, and the play they were doing that year was all about the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I auditioned for the part, got the part I auditioned for. I drove my parents mad, going around talking like that the whole time, at 9 years of age, listening to like Foghorn Leghorn cartoons, trying to do a Southern American accent. And I, at the time, I didn't realize it, but I suppose the experience of actually stepping into somebody's life and somebody else's perspective kind of was profound for me. It was the first time I really dedicated myself to learning lines, to learning something, because I was interested in it. And then, like, through music, I kind of learned, okay, music is a bit of a science, and it's all about counting and knowing how to count beats and stuff. So all of a sudden, the fact that I was involved in a piece of theater at an early age, all of a sudden opened up a whole world of learning for me. You know, I was learning about the history of the African American struggle in the United States. We were comparing it to the same civil rights movement that had gone on up in the north of Ireland. And here we were, a bunch of little kids in County Cork, you know, singing the songs of, you know, oppressed people thousands of miles away. It was profound, and from then on, I never wanted to do anything else. Every time there was a school play, I would be auditioning for it. I went and auditioned for plays at the Cork Opera House. I ended up getting cast in plays there in Cork. I did quite a bit as a young actor at the Opera House and the Cork Arts Theatre. And then when I got to my leaving cert, it was like, it's the only thing I wanted to do. So I went to drama school at the Firkin Crane in Cork with Stefan Nefa, and then ended up going to a 3-year course in Inchicore in Dublin at the Inchicore College of Further Education. It's a great spot, put me in touch with loads of people. Then it just kind of developed from there. I worked in bars in Dublin. I'd been bartending to supplement my education, and I worked in a place in Temple Bar called Eamon Doran's, and it was run by people who had pubs in New York. So I started kind of meeting a lot of people from New York. And then in 2000, I was just like, you know what? I have some friends living over there. I think I'll go over, see what it's like, go over for the summer. And after about 2 days of being here, I was behind a bar pulling pints on the Upper East Side in Manhattan. And the rest is just kind of history. I started producing plays on the second floor there, and got involved in the theatre scene here in New York, and started getting work at places like the Irish Repertory Theatre, who I still work with quite a bit. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And yeah, and it just moved along. There wasn't really a plan, you know.
Everything just kind of fell into place.
Yeah, they fell into a certain kind of a place, and I think, you know, it certainly wasn't totally random. I'm very fortunate to have very supportive people in my life who've helped me. You know, my wife is unreal. The support Jessica gives me, like, to pursue this career. And then just the network of people all across New York and in the Irish community and outside the Irish community as well. And there's a great love for Irish art and culture and theatre here. So to be kind of finally working in that world, you know, encouraging young Irish playwrights and artists, and Irish inspired as well, like, you know, because we've got a massive diaspora across the world. you know, working with them to give them an opportunity to bring their plays from the page to the stage, as I say, is it's an honor. Yeah, and here I am, and fuck it, Sean MacGuire was a happy accident and all that, you know.
Actually, I wanted to ask as well then, how did you come across getting the role for Sean? Like, did Rockstar approach you or did you apply for something? Because I know they wouldn't have necessarily have advertised that, oh, we're looking for actors for Red Dead Redemption 2, because at the time it would have been very hush hush. So
Mhm.
how did that process kind of occur?
I have a couple of agents that I work with here in the city, and one of my agents who used to get me some commercial work, like a little bit of voiceover work on Jameson's commercials and things like that, is Don Buchwald and Associates, and they're a fantastic organization. And I would go in and out. I mean, I would audition for things, and you know, you never hit them. It's good to get in the room. It's good to get known, and for every 100, maybe every 200 auditions you go for, you might, if you're lucky, get one or two. You know, it's just a numbers game. And then, you know, I kind of became known as, you know, they have a couple of other great Irish actors that work with them as well, but I kind of became known as one of their Irish actors, I guess. And then I just got a call one day from one of my agents that works for them saying, listen, the project's come across our desk. We can't really elaborate too much on it, but would you be interested in going in? So I went in, and they had me like kind of take the mick out of an English person, like as a bit of an arrogant, aggressive, overly, you know, petulant Irish fella. And that was what part of the audition was. And it was quite funny. And I still didn't know what it was for, you know.
Mm.
Obviously, I'd heard of Rockstar, and I kind of knew that they were massive, but I just didn't know quite what the whole thing was about. Even up until I got the part, I still didn't really know what it was about. And on the first day of shooting, I walk into the studio, and there's my pal, Roger Clark, sitting there dressed up in a skin tight fucking little scuba suit with little dots all over it. He just looked up and he was like, "Oh man, they got you doing this shit now too, huh?" I'd known Roger. He used to work at a restaurant down the street from the pub that I worked at and eventually owned, called Ryan's Daughter. And he would come to play readings that we used to host on our second floor. And, you know, I think he was involved in a few of them. And I actually auditioned him for a play I was producing in the summer that we were all dumping ice buckets on our head. I think it was 2013 or 2012 or something. And he got the role, he got the part, and then he couldn't do it because he got this other gig that he couldn't talk about, which I eventually found out what it was that morning when I walked in there. So yeah, and like I said, I mean, obviously they want to keep everything close to their chest because it's a massive industry. There's billions of dollars, millions of dollars invested in these games, and they employ an army of people to do such great work. Obviously, they don't want word getting out. So, you know, it was kind of all done under this, you know,
Yeah, very, very
secrecy,
secretive.
but you understand why, like, you know,
Yeah,
it's
of course, the one wants like projects like that getting out and people finding out so early. How many years did you start doing Sean before like the game came out? Was it like 3 or 4 years? I
The
think
game came out on October, was it October 24th,
it was. It
2018?
was yeah, 2018.
Yeah, 2018, the game came out. I believe my first day working on the game was right around January of 2014 or 15. Yeah, so
Wow.
I'd done about 3 years. Now, I wouldn't have been in there like intensely, like every
Hmm.
day. There would have been spurts where I would get a call and I'd have a couple of days in there, and then there'd be times where I might go in like for like one shoot. And of course, it's all out of sequence. So even though you kind of know, you're kind of getting an idea of who you are and what this is all happening. You don't actually know what the kind of story is from start to finish, you know. And obviously, with a game like this, it's so open world that obviously there's a track and a story from start to finish, but it can go in so many different directions. It would be impossible to put it together anyway.
Hmm. So when you were doing Sean, there's always been one question I've always wanted to ask. Was there ever a like an alternate ending for Sean? Like, was there ever a consideration of maybe he could live, or maybe a different death scenario or something?
Not that I'd be aware of. I mean, I'm sure in terms of the creative side, the writing and all the rest of it, I'm sure they've explored all sorts of scenarios.
Mm.
But as far as what I would have to do as the performer, I wouldn't be privy to that. But I've got lots of suggestions. I mean, he could have survived and rode off into the sunset with Karen. You know, back
But
to Ireland and had lots of beautiful little redhead babies and fucking,
mm. No,
or joined the cause for 1916 and all the rest of it. But that unfortunately never happened. Sadly,
no,
yeah.
17 years beforehand. Lovely.
I know he would have been. I tell you, he
Brought
could
all
have.
the guns back and everything, you know.
They could have used them. Telling you now, Robert Emmett could have used all a bit of Sean MacGuire's clout there to get those guns up off Bannistrand, you know.
Should have bring Arthur back and just give all the English TB.
That would be a good one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be a handy one. Or just bring the Driscolls back and set them off in England, you know.
Do you recall maybe recording any scenes that might have not actually have ended up in the game?
I don't, and I'm not being funny, but I actually don't. There was an awful lot of work went in there, and as far as and the funny thing as well is it's one thing with performance capture, like you go in and they shoot the scene. I remember anything I did. I remember now when I see the game, when I watch the game, when I play it. I'm like, oh, I remember that. So in terms of other things that could have been shot that ended up on the cutting room floor, I don't remember. The other thing as well is like when you're in the booth and you're doing a lot of the audio work, after a while, the script that you're doing, because you're doing it so many ways, so many different times, so many different takes, because they take all these different takes of different emotions and levels and everything else, because it's obviously used in the game. People react to the player in different ways, but you might still use the same line. After a while, you would even forget what it is that you're saying. Like the words and the letters just become exactly that, consonants and vowels that you have to pronounce, and the meaning behind it even sometimes gets a little bit lost when you're kind of so focused on doing it a certain way. But
Yeah.
I don't really remember anything that I did. There was one great scene where Sean did like a bit of a stripper pole, kind of a dance. He did like a Chippendale thing where he got naked and all and covered himself in honey, him and Micah. I don't think that
I don't recall this. I might have to start playing through the game again.
No, I'm only joking. We didn't shoot that scene. Like, that might have happened at an after party somewhere.
I have heard some weird scenes though that just completely got cut from the game. So you never know. It could have been like
never know.
a
Never
crazy.
know. I think it took like 7 years to make it, so it's huge.
All the
so
programming and everything. Yeah.
But there must have been stuff out there that just didn't probably make it into the final cut. I mean, who knows? And who knows what they'll do in the future? I mean, who knows what's down the road for Red Dead? Hopefully they'll have more installments and incarnations. Hopefully it'll keep going further back into the past. So
you think you'd prefer it going backwards?
Well, I would, because then we have more of a chance to actually see more of Sean. He moves forward into 1899 and 1900 and all. We're not going to see much of fucking Sean in that one. I hope they're walking back through roads and it's like, oh yeah, there's half his brain hanging off the top of the building over there. So yeah, if they're doing it, please keep going back. Bring back the MacGuires.
Bring back just have Red Dead 3 be about Sean MacGuire then.
It should be. I thought that's what the whole game was about. I thought the whole game was about Sean falling in love and having a bit of fun and bringing fun to everyone's lives. I thought that's what it was,
So when you were in, because you were saying there when you saw Roger in the suit with all the dots and all that, like what's it like going into a room like that and all the cameras and like performing a scene like that?
I mean, the first time you do it, it's great, it's exciting. There's the thing that I'm always amazed about, the thing that gets me about that whole production is just the scope of it and the scope of talent. You're in a space here where you're surrounded by so many people, like not just the actors. Very often when you're in a theater space, you're in a room, you've got people working on their jobs and the focus is on the play. And the lion's share of the work that's done in a rehearsal room is very often between the actors and a director and a stage manager. And then everything else kind of supports that. In a room like this, like you're just the one thing I was constantly blown away was just again like just the amount of people that were in there who all had very specific talents, things that they had to do to make this all kind of come together. And that's what I couldn't get my head around a lot of the time. Just how brilliant and talented these people were, and showing up for work every day with a smile on the face. And again, for me, I would get to go in like once a month or maybe once or twice in a row. You know, these are people who are like committing their lives. This is their career. They're doing this day after day after day. They're spending so much time and energy and effort to get this product out. That was the most overwhelming thing for me. In terms of the actual space, just seems like another kind of soundstage that you could be anywhere in the world, like any other kind of a set, you know. But yeah, it was a wonderful experience.
Just thinking of all the different elements and stuff that goes into these games. Like, I mean, I've worked on I've worked on a few videos of my own with GTA 5 and Red Dead, and even now, like with my more latest stuff, I have to kind of go into like the actual kind of coding of the game a little bit, and just it's so complex, and just everything that goes into it. Like,
it's mad for somebody like me who, I mean, essentially I'm an actor. My brain doesn't work the way these other talented people's brains work. You know, for me, I see a script, I look at a script, how can I express what's on the page? That's kind of my world, and that's what I get excited about. Like, to think that there's people out there who are able to create like a story and a whole world like Red Dead, and think of it from inception to the end, and all the possibilities that they want to give you as a gamer, as a player, to be able to explore. That blows my mind. I'm just thinking these people are geniuses, you know. And even in the video game, or even in the tech world, I'm at an age myself now where I've always prided myself on kind of understanding how technology works. But in the last couple of years, I found myself kind of turning into a grumpy old man about it, where I'm like, no, I don't want to learn what the next app is. And like, now we all have to be on Blue Sky. I'm like, why? Like, okay, because these other people are arseholes. Okay, fine. So now I get on Blue Sky and learn how to do that. And I'm just I'm becoming a curmudgeonly old kind of grumpy fecker.
I'm only 26. I'm already like that with half of the apps that are coming along.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up. But to think that there's a whole bunch of people out there who are so creative that they can create this, just that boggles my mind.
Of all of the, well, obviously I can't ask. Like, who did you have the most fun acting with, or was there any scene or any other actor you really had fun playing around with as the character? I'd imagine Roger would be the first one that comes to mind.
Shut up, Arthur.
Yeah, your job's starting the fights. It ain't winning them.
I can scrap, Arthur. I'm just not good at homework.
I can see.
Besides, what do you care, Englishman? You've got no time for me. I tried to find you work, but then you're off cutting jobs with other folks, and your boy Sean doesn't get a look in.
Guess I don't want to get shot, that's all.
You're a real fucking funny shit, Arthur Morgan, eh? Real fucking funny.
Calm down.
You better sleep with your eyes open.
Yeah, well, you're gonna sleep with your chest open if you ain't careful, boy.
I love you, Arthur Morgan.
Roger's, I mean, as I said, I had a friendship with Roger before Red Dead. We knew each other and stuff. And it's funny thing about Roger is, like, amongst all the gang, he's Arthur Morgan. And he's this American kind of anti-hero. Like that. He's, you know, and Roger is, everyone is American. To me, Roger is some lad from Sligo. Like, I talk to Roger. I talk to him like we're both, like, because he grew up in Sligo. Like he's an Irish lad himself. So I kind of have, in terms of that, I kind of bonded with Roger over our Irish kind of roots and heritage and all the rest of it. I mean, I loved working with everybody. I had a great time for Harron, who played Lenny, because we were involved in quite a few of the scenes and stuff together. And me and Harron used to get on really well. I had great chats with him in between scenes and stuff. I loved working with him. Loved working with them all. I mean, Joe Armanox is just the funniest, like, most amazing, hilarious person I've ever worked with. You know, you form friendships with all the people. Like, I'm very close with Kylie, who plays Miss Grimshaw. We see each other from time to time quite a bit, and she's worked with me in theatre as well.
She was very nice at Deadwood, actually.
Yeah,
She very motherly like.
she takes care of everyone. Like she really does. She's brilliant. And of course, yeah, working with Ben, working with such such a wonderful cast. They were all brilliant to work with. I remember always being a little bit scared of Peter. He had this intensity around Micah. He was an intense guy, but we got on great. And actually since working on it, we've all kind of gotten to know each other better, which is kind of funny because at the time we're all working, we're in it, and you see people sporadically. But since the game came out and all, the core group of the Van der Lindes, we all get on really well. We all love each other. We have a group text that we reach out to each other on. Obviously, quite a few of the guys live in LA, and all of what they were suffering through recently, it was great to all like in a group together. We could what's going on? How are you doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Just send our love. Funny story, just talking about the other actors. I'd been on the game for about maybe 6 months, and I was talking to, I was just talking to people and just trying to kind of learn about the world of Red Dead. And somebody suggested, just go. And I wasn't telling anyone it was in it, but somebody suggested, you should go check out the first game. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty neat. So I played it, and I loved it. And then I realized that the guy who was going for a cigarette every day out the back that I grew up with, that with was John. It was Rob. Like having these chats with Rob, having a laugh with Rob. Rob's a real cool guy, man, and we'd hang out and chat and everything else. And then one night I went home and I had a few beers and I started playing Red Dead, and I went into the next day I was shooting. I was fangirling. I'm like, oh my god, you're so cool.
I saw that video that you took at the New York Comic Con, and you're going up to Rob. It's like, oh, you're there with the phone. It's like, Rob, I'm your biggest fan, and all this.
Yeah.
I showed it to my mother, and my mother was like, my mother's from Dublin. She's from Cabra. She's like,
cool.
Jay immediately copped the accent. She loved it immediately.
My grandfather was from Cabra.
Oh, no way. Small world.
My mother's father was from Cabra, and my mum was from Dublin as well, Ballyfermot. So that's where the Dublin kind of stuff came out. I grew up in Cork, but the Dublin thing kind of came out very strong in Sean. So I took a lot of inspiration from a lot of dubs that I knew, and that's kind of what coloured Sean in. But,
I think, to be fair, maybe it was just more fitting when you were kind of doing the role, that it just kind of came across like Dublin would be more fitting than Cork.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time I just found it in the writing. It just kind of seemed to sit with a Dublin accent a bit more. He had that. I certainly don't want to compare him to any gobshites. But, there was a little bit of this kind of arrogant swagger, with just a little bit enough to maybe back it up,
right?
And we've all met people like that. We all know of people like that, and that kind of just seemed to just sit on Sean quite a bit. And then I would think about my mother's brothers, all my uncles. My mum was one of 7 kids in Dublin, growing up in the 60s and 70s, and all her brothers, they're all hilarious. They're all mad, nuts, like crazy feckers. I had one uncle who's not with us anymore, my Uncle Thomas. He was a brilliant fella, mad, good crack, and he used to race motorbikes. He used to do the Isle of Man TT, and I always remember as a kid growing up hearing all the stories of my uncles and their exploits and escapades. And I remember hearing a story about Tomo was riding in the Isle of Man TT, and apparently he crashed the bike into a lake. He went flying off into a lake, and he didn't let go of the bike. He went into the lake with it.
Oh, Jesus.
My uncles, his brothers, they all jumped in, and they pulled the bike out and left him in the lake. So these are the kind of people who really helped inspire me, especially with Sean. Just proper funny Dublin heads,
crazy Irish behaviour,
I can end up in the Wild West. Sure, why wouldn't you, I did get a bit of blowback from people when there's the whole scene where he talks about being from Donegal, but
yeah, I heard you say that, and I think it might have been Deadwood when you were on stage. I heard it somewhere when I think somewhere in the dialogue it does mention Donegal.
Yeah, he talks about, reminds me of being back in the hills of Donegal. But if you remember, the scene in particular was where we were trying to get into the Grey Manor, and Arthur's hiding in the back of the wagon.
Hmm.
So, for me, it was like Sean is spoofing here. He's met this American fella, and of course, he's getting a bit of the old top of the morning to you, kind of like, oh, geez, where are you from? You're from Ireland. Oh, wow. So it's kind of Sean's opportunity to kind of be a little bit stealthy and sneaky, and he kind of uses his gift of the gab. You know, that's definitely Sean's kind of that's Sean's superpower. Yeah, everyone else has dead eye. Sean's got the gift of the gab. You know.
Sean has charisma 10.
Yeah, there's a little
Uh,
bit of charisma. Yeah, he's got a bit of riz as our Skibbity Sean.
oh, Jesus
I don't know
Christ.
what Skibbity fucking even means. I'm just
Neither do I, and I don't want to know.
yeah.
It's too many.
They'll be teaching a course on it in 20 years, so we might as well get with the program now.
Well, oh God. I just don't want to.
Speaking of teaching courses, did you meet Tor Olsen when you were out there?
Who?
Tor Olsen. He's an author, and he's a professor of history, and he actually runs a course at the University of Tennessee, all about American history in this particular period, all through the lens of Red Dead Redemption.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think Roger and Rob have actually been down and talked to the class and everything. And he's written a book about it, all about the history of Red Dead. It's really interesting. Yeah, check it out. He's a good guy. But he was in Deadwood, and I got to ride on the train with him. And we had a great
I wasn't on the train, so I don't think I got to meet him, unfortunately.
good guy. Well, you know what? He could be somebody for the podcast, somebody to have a chat with.
There's so many people I'd love to
Yeah.
talk with. I'd love to talk with Roger again. I remember the first day in Deadwood, or it was the day before the event took place in Deadwood, and I just after meeting Jenna, Erica brought me up, and I just after meeting Shaniqua and Havila, or Havile. I don't know which way it is. I'm going to say Javi because everyone says Javi. And we go down to the bar in Saloon 10, and just Roger's just there, just chatting away with lads. And I end up just having whiskeys with him at the bar. Just he started telling me about like his dad and everything, and like all these old stories, and it was just so nice. Like it was just getting to meet the people at that event, especially, was so like. You've really got to see the human side of them all. Like it wasn't just characters on a screen.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a great event, and it's great for us because I love meeting all you guys. It's also great for us to kind of all get together again, and it's nice to kind of see everyone again and hang out and have a bit of fun, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be at Tombstone Redemption 2 Electric Boogaloo if
Oh,
that's going ahead?
That's going. I'm not sure yet. I have to figure out a couple of things. I have a musical, believe it or not. I sing as well. There's a musical that's supposed to be happening towards the end of this year. So depending on the dates, but I've got a couple of things going on at the moment, so I'm not sure. But,
Are you
but if I can
still?
make it, I'll try my best.
Are you still planning on bringing the Smuggler to Ireland this year, or what's happening with that?
Yes, I am. I'm excited about that.
Right.
I am planning on it. We're in the middle of talking to a number of venues back home. If it's going to happen, it looks like it's going to be in July. So it's the middle of summer.
Have it on my birthday, 3rd of July.
Oh, really? There you go. You can bring a cake for you. Cake. So we're planning on being there for in July. We have a number of venues that we're talking to at the moment. And we have places in Kerry, in Cork, Dublin, Belfast. Hopefully, we might get something in Galway as well. We'll see. But yeah, so as soon as that's all kind of confirmed and everything else, I'll let you know. I'll be letting everyone on social media know. I'll be reaching out to the folks at Geek Ireland to get them know and stuff. They were very kind to me a few years ago. They had me come to Dublin Comic Con. That was my first ever experience of a con event, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So obviously I'll be reaching out to all those folks too. But yeah, it's an important play. The Smuggler. It's a one-man show. It's 75 minutes long. It's all in rhyme from start to finish. So there's no kind of ad-libbing or, there's a little improvising because I'm dealing with an audience where there's no fourth wall, so I'm interacting directly with you. But yeah, it's a great show. I've been doing it since 2018, I think. I started doing this play. We did it at a number of small little events and festivals around New York. and we got it to the point where it was supposed to run at the Irish Rep off Broadway in March of 2020. And then, of course, COVID happened. And then the Irish Rep were really good to me when COVID was over. They put it on. We ran for 2 months, sold out. It's great play. We took it up to Martha's Vineyard. We took it to Nantucket. I know there's been other productions all around the country here in the United States. I don't believe it's been performed in Ireland yet. But essentially, it's the story of an Irish fella, bartender, up in Martha's Vineyard. And he's down on his luck. He's got a wife and a kid, and he just can't really seem to reach the American dream. And he, gets involved in, there's all sorts of happenings going on. There's a lot of tension between legal immigrants and illegal, as they call them, which is a terrible fucking term to use. I shouldn't use that. But there's a conflict that kind of arises there, and he just gets involved in this whole world, and one thing leads to another, and it's a really cool kind of story, and it's a great take on an important issue that's having an awful lot of airtime at the moment, migration. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, hopefully bring that home.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, honestly, when it gets here. So
we're working really hard to get it over there. And obviously, if there's anybody out there who's interested in coming to see the play, but are also fans of Red Dead, I'd be delighted to sign any Sean MacGuire stuff or anything at all. Come along.
Actually,
always happy to talk about the game.
I still have this that you gave me this as well. Hold on. When when over in Deadwood, it was when you were signing the other yoke, and you just wrote this. I don't know if you can.
I can see it. Yeah, I love that one.
The Irish flag you put on there.
That goes on everything. That goes on everything, pal. I always make sure they all know Sean is Irish.
Consistently representing. That's so cool.
Absolutely. I did it a couple of years ago in Dublin, and the fellow who I signed it for happened to be a member of some local Orange Lodge up in the north. And I stuck a little tricolour on there, and I didn't know at the time. And then he said it to me. He says, "Come here," he says, "Look, and I'm a member of the lodge back home." I'm like, "Oh, I've got red, white, and blue. I'll do you another one." And he was really lovely. He says, "No," he says, "this is going up on the wall now. The son loves you. I don't know who you are, but my son loves Sean MacGuire. That's going up on the wall at home. You've done more for the peace process now with this than anything." I'm like, "Oh, that's nice."
Jeez, that's a wild one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the power of art and culture. It brings people together.
For good or for worse.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. For this year, I'm thinking, I'd like to go back over to the States again. So maybe for Tombstone, or I have been looking at New York as well. But
yeah, if you're in New York, man, give me a shout. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'll definitely check out the Origin Theatre and whatever if I do head over.
Do. It's www.origintheatre.org. And like I said, we produce the annual First Irish Theatre Festival. We do play readings of new works. Actually, we're doing a Valentine's Day event next Saturday on the 15th.
Oh, nice.
Doing some readings of John B. Keane's Letters of a Matchmaker, which is kind of like Tinder in the 1950s. It's like this matchmaker up a hill in the middle of the remotest part of Kerry, trying to help all the locals get together. And there are these little love letters between people. It's kind of fun. It's a fun little event. So that's what we'll be doing next week. Actually, we have a few wonderful Irish actors involved in it. So yeah, look forward to that.
Ah, nice. Does okay, obviously, I'd imagine you have no connection at all with what Rockstar is working on at the moment, or any future project, right?
No.
Okay. No. All right. And even if you were, I don't think you'd be allowed to say.
I hope they're writing a prequel to Sean and Karen's story, but I don't think that's happening.
Would you ever do maybe other, I don't know, if Rockstar ever asked you to do a different character for, say, Grand Theft Auto or something?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a hired gun. I will work. Absolutely, I'll do anything at all. Yeah, I'd love to, and I would love to actually do more of. I'd love to be involved in more of the video game work. I am actually working with a wonderful company here at the moment called Assure, It's run by two really amazing young Irish women, and they've got a great vision for an Irish language video game. So we just had a couple of meetings, a couple of chats, and I'm just seeing like if there's any way I can help them with it. But that's something that I'm kind of excited about. You know, it's entirely in Irish kind of video game,
Oh,
um,
wow.
which I think will be kind of cool and unique. And I mean, it's another great way to kind of share our culture around the world. I'm always kind of shocked that people don't realize that Irish is its own kind of language and stuff.
I know, right? Like,
Um, yeah,
it's,
people kind of seem to think top of the morning and Bigosh and Begara is Irish, and like, no, it's not, you know. So it's something that, and I actually went to see a play last year here by a wonderful company called Branner. They're based in Ireland, and they do a lot of children's theatre and they do a lot of multilingual stuff. And they had a play on Broadway last year called Grand Soft Day, and it was basically about a couple of friends in a forest, and the weather is changing. And every time the weather changes, they would talk about the weather in Irish, English, and I think it was Italian. And yeah, this I went to see this play just because I'm in the industry, so I went along to see it, and it was just a room full of kids, American kids, you know, and they're all walking out, going "Fluck, Schnachta," you know, like shake that, and they're all walking around with their little American accents, kind of speaking Irish. So again, I think the video game world, you know, it reaches so many people. I think again, this is a really, really interesting way to kind of help spread our language and
re-enlight the language a little bit.
yeah, and more of our culture. And obviously, this is an accessible way for so many people who, you know, might not have other ways of kind of learning it. So
Mm.
I'm excited about that. So I'll keep you posted on any developments there.
Absolutely. It sounds like it'd be great crack, to be honest.
Be brilliant.
Oh.
I just have to learn how to speak Irish.
Yeah, it might help me as well. I
Yeah.
was shockingly bad in school.
I was terrible at it too, but since I've kind of gotten older, I've much more of an appreciation for it, you know.
Mm.
And I'll try to do a little bit when it's required, you know. But yeah, I was terrible. I was desperate at it as well. You know?
I just wanted to get out of school as quick as I could, you know.
I want to go back to fucking school. That's what I want to do. I know what I knew now. Stay in school.
Yeah, we'd be just getting 100% the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah,
Exactly. What about yourself? What have you got coming up? Are you
Oh,
working
Jill.
on? Are you working on some more of the YouTube stuff or what?
yeah, well, I finished that my last Sons of War video
Brilliant.
with it started off with the whole Northern Ireland bit. I showed you a bit of that already, and then I just finished a documentary I was working on, and now at the moment I kind of have my hands tied with like a few different projects I want to work on. So I have the next Sons of War video, which for that it's like my Sons of War series originally started as a motorcycle club on Grand Theft Auto 5, and then like I threw in like some little Red Dead bits because I kind of wanted to have it like the ancestors of the people in the motorcycle club. So Red Dead was kind of like a few generations behind.
Yeah.
So my current season season 3 is all in Red Dead Redemption 2, but then like it'll have little bits where it'll go forward into Grand Theft Auto 5 and what the characters are currently doing now, but it's telling the story of what happened to their ancestors in Red Dead 2's universe and how that all ended up. And that's kind of the concept with that story. It's been something I've wanted to tell for a very long time because a lot of the parts of the story are stuff that I kind of went through when I was interacting with a lot of the Red Dead Online community. So I'm kind of throwing in a lot of references and things like that. So some people are kind of like, oh, I remember that happening, or I remember that person. And like, you know, it's the community itself has kind of helped me build the story. And I'm hoping by the time I get this series done, I'll be able to continue it into Grand Theft Auto 6 and then continue it from there.
That's
But,
terrific, man. That's great. Well, just good luck with it, man, and wishing you the best with it.
Thank
Keep up
you.
the good work. Keep up the good work. And what's in store for the podcast? Like, what's the crack? Is it going to be Alan and Mick show every week, or are you going to have other guests?
Well, I'd like to get other people from maybe the Red Dead cast if possible, but You're the only one who gave me your phone number. I might have Rob my email. I can't remember, but it's just I don't know really what's the best way of getting through to certain people. I don't want to be like hounding them either, and so it's I don't know. I'm trying of hoping that maybe this might kick it off a bit, and then it's just kind of word of
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
the thing I always find is like once you're out there doing the work,
Mm,
then only good things will happen. If you don't do it, if you don't do the podcast, if you don't do stuff, then it's not going to happen. So to
yeah,
actually have it,
absolutely.
to do it and to pop it out there, and that's something I say to everybody, about if you want to get involved in anything. Like people are always asking, how do I get into working in video games? I'm like, I don't know. Do what I did, go to audition for plays and stuff and see where it leads you. That's
Keep
it.
throwing shit at the wall and just see what sticks. Like, you
Doing it,
know.
and if it's something that you love doing, then
Mm,
and that's, I mean, if you do something because you love it, then that's the greatest reward of all. And then if eventually it ends up becoming your job and your career, then that's a bonus as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's, I think we're all kind of we're also, what's the word I'm looking for? We're all kind of like so geared towards everything has to have like a dollar amount or a bottom line.
mm.
There's an awful lot of worth in just doing stuff that feeds your soul and makes you happy. And I think you find like the most successful people in the world, that's what they've done, and they've been able to turn that into a career for themselves. So just
Yeah,
do it.
they've
Oh,
done things that they really love doing. Like
yeah.
I've talked to many people who've told me like their own stories and things that they've like similar to like the stuff that I do, but stuff that if they were able to do it, the stories that they would do and all this. And there's I don't know, I always find that there's so many people that start wanting to do this sort of thing, and because it either never kicks off or they never keep trying, they just kind of give up too early. And I would say that's just something that people should try avoid. Like as you said, if it's something you love doing, like then keep doing it because it just
Yeah.
feeds the heart and soul.
I'm very lucky that I kind of found this career with acting because there is no other way of doing it. Like, if I don't know because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an airline pilot, I'm not an accountant, I'm an actor. Um, all I know about that is there is no direct path. I'm sure there are other careers that you can go into where there's a direct path where A leads to B leads to C. In this kind of more creative world, as an actor, as a creator, no matter what it is, like, I speak about from a perspective of being an actor. You just got to do it. It's hard. It's work. But again, if you can kind of come home at the end of the day after doing a bunch of auditions and feel like you left the very best kind of part of yourself out there, then that's a good thing. And it's true of anything, especially creative. Everything has worth. There's no such thing as good. I don't believe in anything that's good or bad. I think everything is a matter of taste. And yeah, just give yourself every opportunity to just kind of tell your story. And I know COVID was a horrible time, but during COVID, I kind of started to really see how important a game like Red Dead was for so many people because of the isolation. And one of the great gifts that came out of that was so many young folks who were doing what you're doing, putting out podcasts, writing their kind of fan fiction of the game, doing art. I mean, Jesus, the artwork that we get from people is absolutely mind blowing. So, it's cool to kind of know that something like Red Dead can encourage people to kind of explore their own creativity. And like you just said, it's a matter of just don't give up. Just keep at it. And what's the worst can happen? You know?
Mm.
What's
Yeah,
the worst?
just keep trying.
Yeah, exactly. That's our advice for the week. We'll do this every week. We'll have a little advice corner. What should you do this week? And I'll have to go in and have to take that advice because
I
I'm
mean,
the worst. I'm
I'm
good
gonna
at
have
giving
to.
it. I'm not good at taking it.
I'm gonna have to try this advice as well because I mean, as we've said, but this podcast is something new for me. I
Yeah.
have worked on podcasts like during COVID. I used to work a little bit as a video editor, and I was helping with a Facebook podcast that was called Cat Back Chat. It was done in Kilkenny,
Oh,
and
very cool.
I wasn't the host. I was just editing it whenever like the live stream was finished or whatever. But I've never really had that much of a chance to kind of step forward into the spotlight. I've always kind of held back. So for me, this is something new. I like doing new stuff, and I like just trying to expand. And like, even though like I love, say, my Sons of War story videos and stuff, I've been doing it now. It'd be coming up to 7 years at the end of this year now. So I want to try new things, and I'm hoping this is kind
Dude,
of a first step into doing
absolutely,
that.
man. And I'll be happy to come on anytime if you have some sort of a subject you want to chat about. There's, I don't know, you want to talk about all the crazy Americans and St. Patrick's Day and what they get up to. Work in the bar. I've worked behind bars for 27 years. I have lots of stories there as well, you know.
Just have full recordings of all like the crazy stuff in St.
Gotcha.
Paddy's Day.
Oh, St. Paddy's Day. Don't get me started. I used to break out into cold sweats at the thought of it a month
Oh
in
God.
advance. But yeah, I remember like when I was working behind the bar, we'd be in there at I'd be in there at like 7 o'clock, St. Patrick's morning, getting ready, and you probably wouldn't be leaving until about 5, 6 o'clock the following day, like just all day long. It's just madness. In New York,
Mm.
it's crazy. It's great. It's a great occasion, but the only time I was on Fifth Avenue for St. Patrick's Day was the year of COVID. I walked out to Fifth Avenue on St. Paddy's Day, and the parade had been cancelled. And I made sure I walked up a couple of blocks and I took a video. I was like, right, I had my own parade today. So there you go.
So I don't know. Like, would you be able to maybe ask Roger or Rob if they'd ever be interested in doing something like this as well?
I mean, I'll reach out to them. I'll let them know about it all. You know what I mean?
All right. I mean, it'll probably take me a couple of days to edit this, or to just go through it because I have a couple of other yokes I'm working on.
Very
I have
good.
an old buddy of mine is coming over tomorrow, and there was this like the type of videos I do back in the day, like when we were kids. We used to play this game called Halo 3,
Yeah, no,
and
hello. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Halo, and there used to be like a series on YouTube at the time called Red versus Blue, and it was done by a bunch of Americans, but it was kind of like a goofy, funny show. And we always like, man, we'd love to do something similar to that, right? So we used to make up our like three Spartans and roam around this giant desert, and we called ourselves the Irish Spartans, and no, Spartan as in like the power armor that they wear. They're
Mhm.
called Spartans, the characters. But I don't know. I was playing around there with like some there's an animation software called um oh, what's it called? Source Filmmaker. And I had some of the assets from the game, so I was able to recreate the models and stuff. And kind of, I've been onto them. Like it was my brother and my best mate, and I was saying, look, let's look into it and see if we can come up with some goofy video or something. And
That'd be
like
fun. Yeah, why not?
this is like nearly 20 years later, but it's like, you
Yeah,
know what? Feck it, let's give it a try. Like,
do it. Why not?
hmm.
I'm working on a musical with some people at the moment. They started writing it in 1994.
Oh wow,
Yeah, and
that's
they're almost there. Almost there. Like over
God.
3 years, you know. And it's a beautiful piece, but it's almost. Yeah, hopefully next year we'll see. You know.
Mm.
I am going to Connecticut GamerCon in St. Patrick's weekend.
Oh,
So
lovely.
yeah, I'll be going up there. So I think Roger, Rob, and Kylie are also going. So I'll send you a couple of pictures and a couple of photographs from that, and I'll be chatting to them then. I'll let them know about the podcast and everything else.
I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries,
God.
man.
Oh,
Brendan,
over Paddy's, I won't even be in the country. Going to I'll be going to Fort Ventura with
oh nice.
aunties and uncles and cousins and all that. Just I'll have. To be fair, I don't really like having a Guinness where it's in a really hot country, but I
Yeah,
mean, I'll try have one at least for Paddy's.
yeah,
God,
do it. Have a can.
God.
I celebrated Paddy's Day a couple of years ago down in the middle of a little town called Antigua in Guatemala,
All right.
surrounded by volcanoes, and I found this one pub, fella from Dungannon, in the middle of nowhere in Guatemala. He had a lovely Guatemalan lady, and he ended up going back there from New York. And he opened up a pub, and he would drive up and down to Mexico every day. Not every day, but every other week
Hmm.
to pick up his Guinness. And we arrived in for a wedding right over St. Patrick's weekend. I had a great time with him. Rory was his name, and he was giving me shit by the end of the weekend because we drank him out of his Guinness. Talking up for Paddy's Day. So yeah,
That sounds like great crack.
I don't really drink Guinness anymore. I love having a pint when I go home. I don't really drink it as much anymore. I like IPAs and things like that, and I've kind of taken a bit of. I just don't really get into it as much as I used to.
I think it depends on the vibe. Like I was up in it was my cousin's 21st, and there's a pub up the hill, just a nice out of the way country pub, and some of the nicest Guinness in the whole country, just in this one. Like,
what's the name of the pub? Do you know?
Leeches.
I have to check it out when we go home. Yeah, I know I love a good pub. You know, just I've spent so much time in the bar business over the years that I don't kind of go to pubs as much anymore.
Right. Right.
Also, just the hangovers, man. The hangovers.
Oh yeah, that after that fucking Guinness I showed you in Deadwood, that was not good. I
wasn't even drinking that weekend, and even I almost had a hangover just looking at that. I was like, oh no. I know Roger got upset with Jason Momoa in Aquaman 2, I think, for drinking a Guinness out of a can. Roger was like, that's fucking terrible. You know, pissed Roger off big time. Like, dude, it's Jason Momoa drinking Guinness. I mean, you know.
Yeah, straight out of a can though. That's
people just don't know, you know. People
don't know.
That's
I remember after like that day when I showed it to you, I was up there. We were waiting for like all the actors and all that to come out, and I was sitting there next to Javi's mother, and I'm here dying of a hangover. And she seemed really nice, and she's just there trying to talk with me and get to know me, and like my head's like an absolute ping pong table. Just no. I felt really bad for it, but like I communicated a bit.
Let them know. Just let them know, you know.
I won't hold you for too much longer.
You're grand, buddy. You're grand. I'm happy to answer any questions, man. I'm happy, and I'm just delighted to chat to you. It's great.
Yeah, I am.
Well, come here. Go on. I'll be in touch with you soon.
Okay.
Keep up the good work, and What are you going to edit this now and stuff like that, or what's the crack?
Yeah, I'll take the full yoke, and then I'll just go through it. I probably won't trim too much of it out. I'll try to keep it like a constant thing.
Yeah.
Well,
like I said, I'll be happy to be your guest anytime, man. Anytime at all. There's that coming up. There's that you want to talk about? Soccer. I'll talk about soccer all day.
I could probably talk about the rugby. If I presume you saw the Ireland-England game.
I did. I saw the rugby there last week. Yeah, I love that. I love the Six Nations. Did you
No,
watch it yourself?
I watched a good bit of it. As soon as I saw that we got robbed of 5 pints at the real start of it, I started getting very annoyed. But we picked up at the end.
Yeah, the nice thing about Ireland is they're just strong and powerful enough that they can kind of hang with anyone and then just have that little bit of power to make them get over the line at the end. And that's kind of what happened with the England game. I thought, England defended really well, but Ireland, you just knew Ireland at the minute we started scoring, it was going to be wasn't too worried, But I know we're playing France in a couple of weeks. That's going to be the big one. We have Scotland this week and then France in a few weeks. That'll be the big one. But we'll see how it goes. Again, it's great to see Irish people representing the country on the world stage and doing their best and getting the plaudits for it,
Well, I really appreciate all of this, and hopefully this kicks off really well. And I'm kind of hoping to use this video as kind of like the well, not just the start of this series, but also to kind of show the change of the YouTube channel and all that. And
brilliant.
Yeah. But
brilliant. Keep me posted on it. Keep me updated on it.
I'll share it with you. Yeah.
I need to get onto YouTube myself and start doing a few things, or TikTok or something like that. I'm just kind of allergic to videotaping myself. I don't mind videotaping me as a different character, but this whole I don't know, this influencing thing. No. Leave that to the good-looking younger generation like yourselves.
Well, here, Mick, cheers for that anyway, and I'll catch you all another time. And sure, if you're going to Tombstone, then I'll probably be going as well. I'm not 100% certain yet, but sure, I'll probably see you there.
Very good. Yeah, it's great to get all the fans and stuff together. So I'll be letting people know on social media if it's happening for me.
All right, cheers.
All right, buddy. Listen, so on, lad.
Slán, go
What time?
fágad.
What time is it there now?
For me,
Yeah.
it's 4:22.
Lucky fecker. If it was 4:22 right now here, I'd be going straight to bed. I'm knackered. I'm looking forward to my bed tonight.
Nice. Here,
All right, brother. I'll see you soon, all right?